Check it out. Starburst. Huh?
You're a 12-year-old.
No, it's all coming around, right? I'm really starting to live a life.
Yeah.
Hello?
Who can take pre-diabetes?
I know. Turn it into a thing.
And take away the pre.
And get diabetes tomorrow. Well, Andy Kindler can. Andy Kindler can. He got a hankering for candy in his 50s. Andy Kindler can. Who bought a high chew, thinking it was an all-natural thing. Doesn't even have vitamin C in it. And I don't know anything. Oh, Andy man can. All right. Well, I didn't do too bad with that one.
No, you get it rolling.
Yeah, I really did get it rolling.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to do with my phone, but I'm so tired of the preemptory. Good evening, Josh.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
When I don't really remember. When is this coming out next Monday?
Yes.
All right. So, good evening. This is real. Is this the first time we've been in real time since?
So, happy Labor Day? Yeah, happy Labor Day.
I don't understand. I see. Now I don't get what you mean now.
Today's Labor Day if they're listening. Damn.
Oh, in other words, they're going to be listening to this the day before the day I go to England?
Yes, you're leaving tomorrow.
Oh,
Wink.
my God. So really, it would be smart for me to spend the bulk of the time
promoting your gig.
Yes, promoting my gig at the Soho Theatre on September 5th, or as they say in London, 5th September.
Do you remember the significance of Soho in our relationship?
It seems like I should.
Years ago, many years ago, we were at your old house, the one we were invited to, and
that is the cruelest accurate thing you've said so far.
And we were talking about Soho. And this was years aago, and we were like, well, in New York, it's south of Houston. That's why.
Who said that, though?
I think I did, probably.
Okay, right.
Well, and I think maybe Susan was in on it too. But we were going, why is it called Soho in London?
Right.
And I went, well, I'm going to go look on your computer on this newfangled thing called the search engine.
Oh.
I don't think it might have been Alta Vista at the time.
Alta Vista, babe.
And I looked it up.
Wait a second. What is
and
Alta
you guys
Vista? A search thing?
Yeah, it was pre-Google.
Okay,
pre-Google. And it turns out that was like a hunting cry that hunters would, as they came back from the fox hunts, they would cry Soho.
Oh.
But you guys, this was like, must have been like late 90s.
Yeah.
And you guys treated me like I was a fucking wizard for looking this up on the internet.
Yeah. Okay, no.
You were just you were like slack-jawed with amazement that I could find this fact in a minute.
This was when anybody could go to ask.com and still not get the answer.
Well, I guess it was after that because I got the answer.
So did I think you were like a genius who made it up, or I knew you found it in this new device you were using?
No, you thought I was a genius for being able to use the computer with such incredible skill. Both you and Susan. And Allison, too.
Maybe that's when I started to think you would be the information guy.
It might have been. I think it might be the roots of it.
Wow. Soho.
Yeah, so work that in.
Soho.
While you're there. You have 10 days to work.
You gave me a fact I could actually use.
Yes.
You gave me a fact I could use, and I was like turning it into my own bit. Soho. Now, was anything, because I'm starting to suspect any information that I give, so I don't even know if south of Houston Street's right.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's very good. It's very good. But then
Tribeca is Triangle Below Canal.
Ooh. That makes it sound more clinically.
Huh. Interesting insight.
Maybe I'm not a smart person, Josh. Maybe you thought I was smart, and now you've come to the realization
You're just Googling things.
No, that I don't have a lot going on up here. Maybe it's the accident. Maybe it was the...
Did you wet the chair again?
Good evening, Josh.
Hi, Andy.
Elvis Weinstein. Now, I am so proud of myself for one thing.
For everything, seemingly.
I'm proud of myself because I see you as both a father figure and the guy who's going to stab me, come at me when I least expect it.
All right. Which is also your father. Yes.
That's what makes it a father figure. I went through a whole thing this week and didn't even bring you into it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is this the tweet saga?
Yes.
Oh man, because I was saving it to talk about it tonight. I didn't want to off-gas any of it.
Now, you know what's so great? So many times I wanted to bring you into it.
Yeah.
Because, okay, now, should I tell you what my take was, what I was going to tell you when I saw you, or what, how should we do it?
However you want. Whatever you've been saving up, and then I'll dump whatever I was saving up.
Okay, so here's what happened. I tweeted that Mexico volunteers to pay for the walls that are closing in on Donald Trump.
Right. Great joke.
Great joke.
Solid joke. Absolutely. Right. In fact, so solid that 2 people wrote me and said, "Did you write that for him?"
Now, my first thought, I'm going to tell you what happens to me. It starts to take off. It's at 10,000. I go, well, I start to get queasy. Right. Immediately get queasy.
Sure.
Oh my God. Because one time before, when I got a tweet that went viral.
Right.
It turned out that I came up with it in the moment. It was like, is Pepsi okay? Should be their slogan. Right? Well, I just didn't think about it.
Sure.
And then but then that was very traumatic because everybody thought I had taken it and they were showing me memes with it and embroidery.
That was more sort of a public domain joke almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I wouldn't think,
this is a different thing though. Okay, go finish the story though.
All right. So at first didn't say this to Susan, but as it started to get popular, I was starting to already worry that and the first thing I thought was, did you do that joke on the podcast?
I don't know I don't think so. No.
Do you remember talking about it with me?
No, but here's the thing with that joke.
Okay.
Is that joke is there for everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of jokes like that. And the universe needs that joke to be written by someone and told by someone. So, and I had a joke like that today where it was, there was a fire on Liberty Island. And I said, that's an awkward time to be standing there with a torch. But because all the pieces are there,
right,
it's a joke for anyone to do. And the first one to put the pieces together, you almost want to race to whatever venue you can to go, okay, I know other people are going to probably think of this joke, but I'm going to be the first.
Right. Right.
And that's kind of that's kind of like your joke. It's one of those jokes that the universe needs to be told, and whoever gets to it first is a hero. And and in most people's eyes, you were a hero for like 80,000 people.
Right. And did you ever watch the Conan thing? Let me let you finish first.
No, and so yeah. So I mean, obviously, you it turned out that.
Okay, so it turned out that a guy said to me, and here's the thing: everything is about this story makes me not so much a saint, but a much more healthier person than I have been in past years. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's hard when. Okay, I don't want to blame the OCD.
Let me just stop for a second. Andy's not perfect. Let's just get that.
Yeah, get that out of the way.
Let's get that on the record.
OCD, I don't want to use it as an excuse, but one thing that it's bad about is it's worse. It's not so bad in certain areas. Like, for example, if you really want to check your door to make sure it's locked, or you really want to make sure you turn your lights off, it's a good method for it. But it's a terrible disease for something like this, where you don't know if you said something, like you start to worry, did I hear it?
Right, sure.
Okay, and then when the guy said to me, he replied to me, wasn't this joke on Conan a couple nights ago? Isn't it theirs? Right? So I think he had just a natural reaction, like he was a little bit, just from his point of view, he was like, wasn't that joke, like he thought that was Conan's joke.
Sure.
Clearly for the world.
Right.
Now here's the weird part. I went back and looked at Conan's, see, the other thing that was terrible was I had seen some of Conan's show for the first time in like weeks. I had seen Billy Burr.
Yeah.
And I'd seen Marina Franklin do a set.
And was it that show?
I think it was a different night.
Okay.
I think it was a different night.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, but here's the other thing it says. Like, I don't really pay attention to the monologues that much. Like, I love Conan, but I don't sit riveted to it.
Right.
And
you not paying attention is viable.
Is viable.
I can buy that.
And then the thing is that was that he didn't even get a laugh with the joke.
See, that's the thing, is that it's one of those jokes that it's better in print almost. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's much more impactful as a single joke on Twitter. And I had a feeling that, because it's a great joke. It's not a revolutionary joke, but it was like, it's exactly the right joke at exactly the right moment.
And the wording was really good.
It was exactly the right joke.
Right.
You couldn't have done better with it. It was exactly the right joke at the right moment. Even if it was first thought theater, it's the perfect form of first thought theater. Exactly. You know what I mean? But it's also like if it could also be easily thrown away on stage.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So having it there in print on screen and being able to quote it in articles, like I'm
having
sure
Vicente Fox
responded to it, former president of Mexico, which is beautiful. But when I saw Saturday night, because I told Allison, "Oh, Andy has got a big tweet," and I was like rooting for it to go big. And then I saw you later. You tweeted your confession, but you didn't delete the tweet.
That's what I'm proud of too.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I didn't delete the tweet because ultimately I don't think I should have deleted the tweet, is what I decided.
It's a huge dilemma.
It's a huge dilemma.
I understand the dilemma because you still want the record that you thought of it too.
Right.
And there was this massive response to it.
Yes.
It's letting that moment sit there forever,
And you could argue that I didn't delete it because I was accruing all this recognition from it.
Sure, and there's probably some of that
and there's
to it.
But the other part was just like, I don't want this to be it doesn't need to be any more convoluted than it is. And also,
but I noticed you started tweeting a lot after it, just so you could sort of bury it down.
Oh, you mean like? Oh, no. I thought maybe you were saying I started to tweet like original ideas more. Like,
no.
Why do they call a parallelogram?
Rhombus, hello. But no, but I felt my heart broke for you because I understood, at first I was like, okay, Andy's going to be on top of the world. And then I saw your confession tweet and I was like, oh, now he's going to be anxious with every retweet of the original tweet.
Yes, I was a little bit anxious, but then I was like, this has a life of its own. But the thing was, when I went back and looked at him, and I wouldn't even remembered, well, I would have remembered if I had seen it, but he didn't even get to the joke. In a way.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, It's easy to throw away.
Yeah, he said they were talking about the walls and Mexico said they'd help with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it.
I can't believe that this is so good because I did not want to bother you because I knew if I was bothering you, I'd be asking you, was it okay? And I was already worried that you had said it because I don't hear enough things.
Right.
And then, so I concocted all of these OCD things, but was able not to first, like, if I want to text you, that's nice, but I shouldn't have to text you to see if I'm okay.
Right.
It's not.
You're always welcome to.
I'm always
know
welcome
that you're
to.
welcome to. But I thought like I said, I wanted to save it for tonight.
Yeah.
Because I knew that once I saw the second tweet, I was like, oh, there's a saga going on in Andy's world today. And
it's everything when you get scared of, like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Look how much it's going. I'm a star, and then. Oh my God, the more it gets bigger, the more I'm going to be like on some quiz show scandal.
Right.
But it does show you with the OCD, the reason why, okay, here's one thing I want to say. One reason why I can't say if I ever think after I tweet something or if I think, did I hear it? I can't use that guide as much because I will think I've hit somebody on the road.
I don't, I think here's what I use now is 31 years. Why would I start fucking stealing jokes now?
It would be such a hollow thing.
It's just like no one I care about really would think that I stole the joke.
Yeah.
But because I feel the anxiety, because of course it's the entire world is trying to feed off the same bone.
Right.
Everyone's trying to get that scrap of meat off. So that's why I don't really talk about shit like like current shit in my act anymore because who knows what's been said, I can only talk about my own little world and feel safe that I'm making my own observations, but
I don't tend to worry. I don't think either one of us worry that much.
No, but in a situation like that, I understand the anxiety of like, uh-oh. And conversely, I've seen other people score huge with jokes I did previously.
Right.
Like I did a joke about,
or
pretty much like I had a joke about, I think you mentioned it, Jacob Sager Weinstein, you mentioned last week. It was, he's the one who scored with it. And it was a joke about, and I did it months earlier of, I hope Trump will finally get rid of gate as a suffix for scandal and start using alago.
Wait a second. What does that mean? Alago.
like Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, okay. I had to see that visually. Yeah. Right.
And so I tweeted it, and I had a good run with it. But like he had one of those big, deep into this 5 digits run with it, and then someone told him, and then he felt the same shame you did.
Well, the thing is, here's the reason why I feel.
But I felt great that I didn't, because he follows me and I follow him, and we've interchanged before, but I felt very good about like just letting him have it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to do an ahem. I didn't do.
In fact, I would always do it for the opposite reason. Like, if I have a bit that I've been doing for a while, and then someone I knew I see does a joke about it,
right.
I always tell them I already have a bit, so they don't think that I
see. But that feels territorial. That's more aggressive than.
Oh, no.
I know. But
you're right, because they could come in like, don't do it.
Right.
I'm taking like, if you ever hear something, don't think I listened and heard. Maybe what do you think I should do then?
I think you should just not
let
worry
it go.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know why?
Everybody has similar bets in this town.
Is it because I'm the man and they should be apologizing to me?
Sure. We'll go with that.
But the reason why,
I mean, the truth is that. Most comics in this town probably do see you as having comedy seniority,
right? And then you don't want to play that card too much.
No, of course not. But I don't think you need to play the other card either,
right.
Which is just preemptively, so you don't think I'm a thief.
What was that? What's that?
That's
card?
What you're doing is going, hey, I have a bit just like that in case you think.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. You're right. No, it's definitely it's definitely based on the OCD part of me,
right.
Because I'm thinking. That person.
But I think it comes off as passive aggressive the other direction.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I never thought of that because I would never want anybody to drop anything.
Well, but it kind of comes off like I had it first.
Oh, that's bad. Well, yeah. I cannot go back over every interaction.
Don't go change them.
But if you're hearing this, if you're listening tonight, I love John Levinstein.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I go to his page. He's got Thought Spiral on his page. I just messed up something.
What?
I thought he was recommending, don't pretend I never said it.
Okay.
Because it's so embarrassing.
Start a new sentence.
No, I'll tell you what it was. It's embarrassing enough that I should say what it was.
Okay.
I thought that on his page he was saying like he listens to Thought Spiral, but that can't be what it was. On his page, I must have been misreading these people follow of your friends follow him, and so Thought Spiral, something like that. So all I'm saying is, I don't have to get my ego into it, but I always do.
It's tough. It's tough to separate.
I can get the ego out of it, though. That's the thing I think that is a sign of some health. And the reason why I feel so healthy and so thrilled about my personal mental health, is I was able to go through all of these things. And was willing to accept that even if it didn't go my way, like even if you were like, if I came in, I was willing to accept that if I came in here and you said, I'd said that joke Wednesday, I would still know I hadn't heard it and I did it by mistake.
Right.
And I'd be willing to live with all of those things that I was thinking. So it didn't destroy my week.
That's good.
Yeah. Is that bad for the podcast? Is it like people want me to be on the verge of a breakdown?
No, I think people like that you have no shame about being a joke thief.
What?
I was going to tweet when you tweeted about the Vicente Fox thing today. You tweeted about was it a Huffington Post story?
Yeah.
Showing your interchange with Vicente Fox. I was gonna almost tweet back later. Vicente Fox apologized as he realized he stole his response from the host of Sabado Gigante.
A host of what?
Sabado Gigante.
Does that mean Gigantic Saturday?
It's like a Univision show, or it's like a big
Sábado Gigante.
Mexican variety show. Sábado Gigante.
You can
brought to you by Downey. Downey.
They look like
they look like dress pants, but they're not. They're yoga pants.
Oh, you're getting better.
We're doing ads for the yoga pants. That's all you. Every week we're doing.
I was at somewhere where a daughter of close friends of mine. We went to eat at Shay J. Have you been to the Shay J?
I have not.
You know what it is though?
No.
It's in Santa Monica. It's like the show Goliath takes place. Where he's always hanging around. It's Billy Bob Thornton. He's a detective. He's always hanging around in Shay J. It's an old style L.A. type of place.
Okay.
And I found out that the daughter of our friend, she's just got into Case File. It's like finding what is it? Like finding a Jew in the desert. It's like connecting, like someone who likes tiki. You find out, oh, you like tiki too? I love tiki.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing that you were able to find someone to have a conversation about TV shows in this town.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Usually people don't want to talk about TV shows.
What are the odds, is what I said. What are the odds that we would both be listening to the same podcast, is basically how I took it.
It looks like a coincidence, but it's not.
It looks like...
It's a setup.
I'm going to run out of his shows, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm running out of them, because I'm voracious.
Yeah.
I listened to that whole Crime Town thing in about 5 minutes. I can't stop binging this stuff. Maybe I should work on a project or something, career-wise.
Right, maybe a little something.
Well, it's been quite a ride this week. Ben Lee followed me. Ben Lee, who I've loved forever.
Good.
So now it's like, all I do all day is either try to restrain myself from telling Susan who's following me or telling Susan who's following me.
Yeah.
In either case, it's not an attractive character twist.
What's her general response to these reports?
Well, she loves Ben Lee, so when it's like, oh, I'm jealous. Why does he want to be friends with you? It doesn't mean he wants to be friends with me, but he'll know how much I want to be friends with him with the amount of DMs this week. Hey, Ben, I guess I
Thanks for following.
Thanks for following. Hey, Ben, it's fantastic. How'd you write that song? Catch My Disease. It's fantastic.
Stay tuned for my feed for all of Conan's best jokes this week.
Hi, I'm Andy Kindler. I've been on Conan. I also do Conan's jokes.
I'm an aggregator.
Do you like the fat Jewish?
I actually had a tweet go into BBC News this week. Because of it was about the James Bond thing.
What did you say?
It was Danny Boyle had quit directing the James Bond film over creative differences.
With who? With the lead guy?
With the studio.
Oh, not the lead guy.
Right.
What's his name?
I don't know, but stop asking questions during my joke. Wow.
Sorry about that. Back to reality.
Danny Boyle walked away from directing 007 movie because of creative differences. He said stirred, the studio said shaken. It was an impasse.
Now, is that a false premise because he both uses stirred and shaken?
No, he said he's shaken, not stirred, is the famous.
Oh, is that his whole thing? Now, does he like a dry martini?
No, well, he likes it shaken because it's more diluted and therefore he can keep his wits about him.
Are you reading that into it, or is that well known?
It's not well known, but it's from the books.
It's sad in the way that you had to say at the end. It's from the books. Sad. See, I'm a person who doesn't have to memorize. I don't have to impress you with my knowledge of anything.
So far, so good.
This week, I'll tell you something. Lucky came up to me as if nothing has been good since I left. That's how I took it.
Well, take it however you want.
I want that dog. I want your dog without any of the responsibilities.
You can't have
When I
her.
found out that you have to, oh no, I knew you had to wash the dog. That's good. No, but you told me, no, what I didn't know was you said dogs clean themselves.
Some do, some don't. Ours does.
Well, thanks for telling me now before I got my dog and telling everybody, oh no, he's just like a cat. Really? Well, he doesn't smell very good. Call Josh on it if you have a problem. So you admit that cats are better. Cats are better. I mean, pats, they clean like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, they do.
They do this. They lick their paw,
right.
And they do it behind the thing.
Right, like you.
I don't even think, oh, that's not nice. It's not nice. First of all, to compare me to an animal. So I think we are in the first official lull of the show.
You think?
Well,
Just letting the insults fling.
Well, no, not the insults. I thought the story about the tweet that went viral would be the whole show because I was so excited about it. Okay. And how about the response?
It took us pretty deep for a tweet.
I feel like I have a newfound, like I have a new responsibility as a high level celebrity now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got to watch my. How has been the reaction? Well, how would I know the reaction to the music? Did you send me anything? Any emails?
Yeah,
I think you did.
I think everyone I saw had you tagged in it. There was no emails today.
Oh, but I mean, that's all I'm. Oh, I see. There's been no emails since Nice Like Me
since
came
your
out.
song came out.
Nice Like Me.
No.
Do you know I'm going to be in England later on this month?
This week.
This week.
Yeah. Doing 10 shows or something?
Unbelievable. The Soho Theatre in downtown London.
Yeah.
And how many listeners do we have?
Is there any reason to believe you can do well?
Now, I'm playing the role of someone who has hurt feelings. And here's the way I do it. Okay. Some people feel the need to put others down. Actually, that's interesting that you brought that up, because I do think that I psyched myself out to not doing well last time.
Yeah.
And I think that I will be more relaxed this time. But I also went through a whole...
I didn't mean on stage. I meant drawing for 10 nights.
Oh, no, I won't draw. I'm not an idiot. No,
I didn't mean it as, I meant it as an insult to your star power in England.
I thought you meant like...
not your comedic skills in England.
I take it always as a slam against my comedic skills, but
It's just like, wow, it's like, that's a lot of nights to try to have to sell tickets for.
well, that's why every night at 1:00 in the morning, our time, what do?
Is it a flat fee, guaranteed bonus situation? What is it?
No, I think I get more if I sell more.
Right.
I really need to sell this show. So that's why I hate to take even more time off of tonight's podcast, but I really need to fill asses and seats.
Get some asses in there, English fans of Thought Spiral.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm wondering, first of all, do you know that I'm not a marketing guru or genius?
No, I hadn't quite put that together.
All I do is tweet.
Yeah.
So that's the only, how am I going to... So I think if I keep tweeting once a day in London time, I'm interested to see if I will actually be able to get people somewhere.
Maybe, a couple times a day, London time.
No more. More. But I don't want to be an announce only.
No, spread some content in there. But
Don't worry about it.
But the truth is there is, there's like an early crowd and a late crowd for Twitter.
I'm always, mostly when I tweet, which I'm not tweeting as much, but when I feel the need to tweet is when Europe is up and cooking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When they're having their, I couldn't think of one thing that had a...
Crumpet.
When they're having their crumpet. Everything is by order of the Queen. I'm going to work. You want me to work on some of my material? What is this by order of the Queen? Hey, what's the deal with your Queen? What is she, like 100? Boom! Sang! Zoo! Hey, the changing of the guard. Have you thought about changing the guard's cologne? Wah, 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 London! Hey, London's pretty good. I haven't seen the Fab Four since get him off! Kill him! Stab him!
You don't all have to do Beefeater impressions.
So I go up to the guy and say, look, I don't get it. What's the get-up all about? Is what I says to him.
What's with the hat? You look like a Sharpie.
And they love it, too.
They do.
Don't kid yourself when it comes to the people.
Inside, they're cracking up, despite their stoic, stone-faced demeanor.
But
that's their duty.
So what I went through that I wanted to tell you was that I went through a whole thing with my therapist. Not with you, although I could make the claim that you are my therapist. But it's bad. You don't want that. You don't get paid and...
No.
And no. So I went through a whole memorization crisis.
Yeah. Memorization or memory?
Memory. I guess memory crisis. No, crisis about memorization. So... Here's what, last time I was in England, I was very uncomfortable, 2005, and I put a lot more pressure on myself than I should have, which I think is generally what you do in stand-up. The more you do it, you hopefully get more relaxed.
Right.
So I didn't want to rely on my memory. I had cards with bits on them on a table. It just didn't feel comfortable to me.
Right.
So we talked about how, when I'm doing... I can just take the cards out.
Right.
Right. But here's what I'm thinking of doing is there's something about, if I'm going to go do a 75-minute show, there's something about taking the cards out that seems weird to me, especially since once I look at the cards, it's always for the same reason. It's just a memorization thing. And I can memorize my entire act alphabetically. And she said, you've been doing it. I was trying to switch to the Roman, you know what a Roman room is?
No.
Roman room is the Roman device that was like, you try to remember a room in your house. It's to really memorize a number of list of items.
You just assign something to every.
Exactly. Or you do it the journey way is another way. You do a mental thing of a journey.
One of them is Neil Schoen. One of them is Steve Perry.
But the problem with that
Jonathan
is
Cain. I think that's all my journey.
What's the one?
I got it through Jonathan Cain. I just had to get my 3 journey members. In
that's unbelievable. That's like knowing the 4th and 5th Maroon 5. But that doesn't work anyway. And then I was also making mind maps, which I don't really know exactly what they are, but I've been making them.
All right.
But I realized that none of that's going to work because it's not a linear thing I'm trying to remember.
Right.
If it was a linear thing, then I would do it linearly.
Sure.
So I'm going back to an old thing of memorizing all the names of the jokes, so I don't have to look down at the thing, and I don't have to worry about it.
So people watching can literally, now that if they're listening to this and watching, they can literally like
see the wheels turning.
Try to find the alphabet in each joke.
Oh no! But that would no. Don't
do you go A through Z then?
No.
Okay.
This is
do you spell out words. What do you do?
So I go. Okay, I say ask.com. Anti-Semitic. You know, and so I do all those, right? If I get stuck, it's for when I get stuck. It's all psychological.
Gotcha. So you have a card catalog in your head, essentially,
for when I get stuck, because I realized. That's the only reason.
So it's not a roadmap; it's a backup plan.
Yeah,
gotcha. Oh, that's a good idea. That's fine.
I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it was really good to actually go to my therapist, because so many times I'll convince myself I should do something that I shouldn't necessarily do, and asking her about it and getting not that I was gonna whatever she said I was gonna do, but it was interesting that. Part of me was like, yeah, you have to do that picture. Once I get a thing in my mind, I decide, oh, yeah, that's the way the Romans did it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, you're pretty easy with the epiphanies.
I know, yeah. Oh, this is great. Well, then Jerry Lucas, who used to be a Nick.
Yeah.
He does a memorization thing. And if you start to look at these memorization things, they're very strange.
Right.
Because they do have to do with, oh, Josh, you're the guy who has a checkered shirt. But then they also have to do with, you can assign numerals.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like 15, 12, 93.
Right.
Who needs it?
Now it's a hobby. At this point, it's a hobby.
But I was excited to get Jerry Luke. I guess there's no free lunch in the memorization game.
I guess not, except for jellyfish.
Jellyfish?
My only recommendation with the alphabet thing is don't just keep going to A.
What you're saying is exactly right. And I went through the dark night of the soul because I was like, I would get panicked and all I could remember is A.
Because you just keep doing Andy jokes. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Anti-climax.
What I have to do is know this list from every letter of the alphabet.
Or at least,
switch it
really get a few letters.
Yeah.
You probably don't need all 26. But if you can go deep with A, F.
That's the thing. If I did 2 on every letter, even 2 on
Sure.
How am I going to get? I can't do 52 minutes.
That would be easy to drill too.
Yeah.
If you could think of two for every letter.
Yeah, and it'd be easy to drill. You're right, because
that's 30 seconds a joke. There's your whole. That's the whole set.
This never happens to you though, right? Like
forgetting bits. Sure. It's not my big worry when I go on stage.
Right.
It's my big worry the first night of a week.
Right.
Once when I'm headlining, at least, it's my big worry that the inventory just won't be there.
Well, you've tapped into another big worry of mine.
That's usually what my first night
is
panic is just making sure there's enough in inventory. And then once I get that, I've settled in for the week and I can start working.
That's why I think I have to somehow get spots this week. I never got spots for anything, and I want to. We'll have to figure it out. I have to get on the horn.
I bet someone will give you some spots.
Yeah, well, it's got to happen.
Tilt down a little.
Oh, what am I doing?
Just tilt the mic down a little.
Oh,
bit.
Tilt the mic down.
Yeah.
What's amazing is that my voice is so perfect. Is that why you want to? What did I just do?
Saturday night by the Bay City Rollers snoring.
Yeah, I went bum, 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 bum. Okay, I have a question for you. Maybe you don't know the answer to this, but I don't like looking it up. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Hey, where did that come from? Where did that song come from where everyone is singing that chant?
Gary Glitter. Rock and Roll Part 2.
Oh, God damn it. Now, is Gary Glitter, is he like an Iggy Pop of that era?
He was a glam rock star, yeah.
And do you like his stuff?
No. I mean, he got arrested on big pedophilia charges.
Thank you, Josh. Can't you give me a signal?
But I saw him perform. I saw the Who doing Quadrophenia once, and he performed in that show, and he and Billy Idol performed in that show.
But so is the original song good? Rock and roll, rock.
No, it's that.
That's all it is. Hey,
It's pretty much that.
Oh God. Why do we have to do it at summer camp? I don't understand why we had to adopt it for summer camp.
Now it's 20 Nation Army or something is the big one.
Oh, how'd that go?
I can't even summon it, but it's a White Stripes thing.
Oh, now there's White Stripes is another one of those groups where I would lie and say that I like them, but I don't know anything by them, nor can I listen to them that long.
Yeah.
Now it convinced me that I'm wrong and that he's amazing.
Well, he's one of those guys who is definitely
his own
genius-y,
thing. His genius-y, yeah.
Like Beck is genius-y,
right.
And it's like, and they do some music you love and some music that you can't get into, but at least they're always kind of taking swings.
Yes, that makes sense.
And those are the people I admire but don't always listen to.
Right.
It's the people, I wish I listened to more, but, I went to a David Byrne the other night.
Oh, tell me about that.
It was unbelievably great.
Really?
Unbelievably great. Yeah. It was, I can't remember. There's certainly no concert I enjoyed that much in recent memory.
Where was it?
At the Shrine Auditorium.
Oh. That's indoors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Auditorium, yeah. I don't even know where that is.
It's right by USC downtown.
Wow.
It's like where the Academy Awards were for years and years. I played it with Trace and Hodgson a couple of years ago for the Festival Supreme, the
festival, the Nacho,
the Tenacious D
Festival, yeah. So give me the.
It's just an amazing.
Who'd you
show.
go with? Allison?
With Allison.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
And
did you get tuned up?
Did we get tuned up?
Yeah, I'm talking about little.
Did we pregame? Is that
yeah, you did pregame.
We went out to dinner. We went to the Palm downtown first, so we got liquored up more than puffing up. And man, great! Just a great show. There's like 12 people in the band. There's like no amps or anything on stage. Everyone is mobile. Even the keyboard player has a mobile rig. So everything is choreographed throughout the show in this sort of bare stage. That's, a lot of lighting, and it's surrounded by this sort of metallic fringe curtain. So instruments and people can pass easily from any part off stage, And it's an amazing show. He hasn't lost anything, and he's fun to watch. And there was I've never had the experience at a concert where my attention didn't wane.
Wow.
Because there's plenty of songs I hadn't heard before even.
Were they all songs you hadn't heard before?
No, there was generous amounts of Talking Heads and.
Oh. So he.
But it was just this completely fucking joyful thing.
Was Eno with him?
No.
Oh, okay. But
really, just great. Anyone, if he's still on tour, and if I think he's heading east after this, if you get a chance, it was absolutely worth it. If you like him at all,
I love him.
Just an amazing show. Even I think a cooler show than Stop Making Sense.
That says a lot, because that was your favorite show when you saw that.
Yeah.
Or one of your favorite concert movies.
Certainly, it's among my favorite movies.
Yeah, like the thing about it is that I have a book by his that I haven't read, which is I want to read it.
Yeah.
It's called He Explains Music.
Yeah.
Have you read that one?
I haven't, because it's not like I'm like
an addict.
I'm not an addict.
I was an addict. I was a Talking Heads addict.
Yeah.
So I haven't really, once I disconnected from that whole vibe, I haven't gone much back. Well, the other people don't do really much. Tina.
I had just seen, I'm a huge Talking Heads fan, but I had never seen him, and he was like the last of my big music heroes that I hadn't seen live, at least the ones that are still alive. You know?
Man, but do you know any of the other musicians, or not really?
No.
Wow.
But great players. It was like 6 percussion
and people dancing around too, right?
Yeah, including him.
Yeah, I like the way he moves.
In a great way.
Yeah, he does a great thing.
He even has a song now that's called "I Dance Like This." You know, if I could dance better, I would. You know,
he's still one of my favorite lyricists.
He's just great, and everything was tight.
And everything,
nothing was super. Nothing was overstretched out. It was just like really a great show.
Boy, I don't know.
And it elevated my mood for a couple days.
This is
I never have a bad. I never like anything. First of all,
now,
more than
what
that,
do you attribute that to?
I just attribute it to being so great. It's what what I love is when things are. First of all, on just a spiritual level, it was just like I was very tuned into it. I just love the vibe of it, and I love the vibe of him already. So I was totally willing.
You wanted this to be a good night.
I wanted it to be a good night, and it surpassed my expectations.
Does Allison agree?
Absolutely, yeah. And everyone I've talked to who's seen the show agrees.
What's the name of the show?
I think it's American Utopia.
Is it an album too?
Yeah.
An album? What am I, 90?
But it's, I love it because there's so much thought put into it. To me, it's like anytime you can take something that you can default, he could easily default to just putting a band on stage.
Yeah.
And putting up some screens or whatever, and doing effects like the last thing. But instead, he's like, well, what hasn't been done?
What was the last thing? Making sense?
I'm just talking about Stop Making Sense.
Right.
In terms of a big production tour,
Well, that's why I always ask about Eno, because I guess I'm more asking there's that whole sound, the electronic sound.
Yeah.
But you can to ask you what it sounds like, it won't help.
No, but
right?
You can look on YouTube and you can actually see
these
songs from this tour.
Well, I miss Paul Simon. He's gone now, I think, right?
He's on his, I think he's off his, I don't know if he did his farewell tour.
I think he did. I wanted to go see, and for some reason, it's interesting. It's not interesting, but it's, when I say that, it sounds like I'm trying to be intellectual, but I haven't, except when I was on drugs with the Dead.
Yeah.
I have found it hard to relax at concerts. I don't even go to that many of them anymore.
Yeah.
So that's a really a cool thing that you can have that spiritual.
Yeah,
experience.
It hadn't happened in years that I actually stayed in the moment.
Don't you find that people don't use the word spiritual at all? Like the fact that you use that, and I didn't say, there's a whole segment of the population who go, what do you mean by that? They'll question what you are meaning by spiritual.
Yeah.
Have you experienced this? Would you ever be afraid to say it was a very spiritual experience to someone unlike me?
No. No, I mean, it was an elevating experience.
Right. But I'm not saying go away from it. I'm saying go further.
No, now I'm afraid of what I said.
No, you said you were all looped up. You said you smoked some glue,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
It's so weird that a concert like that could affect you in such a positive way. And I haven't been to a concert like that. And so, in fact, the last concert I went to was not big concert, but Hollywood Bowl thing, was that Van Morrison, which I couldn't even hear.
Right.
So I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth about it. But now when I think back to the Greek Theater, I saw great shows there. And I don't know why it's harder for me now. It's harder for me now to do anything.
Right.
But, I have some friends who go out. My friend, Dan Z, he goes out every week. Hey, Nick Lowe's over here. This guy's over there. Right. He's out every week.
Yeah, my friend Don Foster's like that too.
Oh, I can see Don Foster doing that. But does he ever ask you out?
Yeah, he does.
And once in a
once in a while I'll go, But he'll be holding more tickets than he needs sometimes, and he'll give me a call.
I don't know have you ever been to that Cinnabar? It's like this really tiny bar on the west side that does music.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. Cinema Lounge or
something like that.
Yeah.
Dave Alvin was there. But I do want to go see music.
The last time Don asked me was to go, he was going to see Big Star Tribute.
What does that mean?
The band Big Star?
No. I should know that.
It was it's a very sort of influential. it's like the secret band, kind of. It's Alex Chilton's band. Alex Chilton, when he was a kid.
Who is Alex Chilton?
Alex Chilton was in the Box Tops. He sang The Letter.
Okay.
But when he was a teenager.
Right.
And then he was in Big Star, and he died young. And there was a replacement song called Alex Chilton, too.
Why do people die in your stories?
But Big Star is like this hipster sort of. If you're a real music head, if you're a real rock and roll
guy,
Big Star, and you know where they fit in. And I literally had to say to Don, you know what? I would love to say that I'm a Big Star fan, but I would just be posing. So find someone else to get the ticket to who gives a shit.
I'm done with the posing.
Yeah.
I'll try. I don't even have enough energy to pose anymore.
I don't either.
But excuse me, something happened like a burp. But that whole Husker Du and all these groups I missed, so many groups I missed.
Yeah.
The Breeders, no idea. The Shins.
You can pretty much just keep spouting out.
Sonic Youth. I wish I knew more Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
But then here's what I want from this conversation. I want to throw out the names of 9 or 10 things,
right,
and I want you to organize it in terms of what would be good for me to listen to.
I'll make you a mixtape that you can't listen to.
Oh, I didn't bring any music tonight because I realized...
We still have a song in the bank from last week.
We do?
Yeah, you brought 2
Why
last week.
can't I get this... You know what's so bad about me? I knew this leaving last week.
Yeah.
That we were going to... And you said to me... Because people don't know this, but you got very upset with me a couple of shows ago. You threw me up against a wall.
Right.
And you said, God damn it, you breaking the fourth wall is not the goddamn funniest thing in the world. And I was like, Josh... Let me go. You're screaming. You're hurting my head.
And I went, you're hurting my head.
You think I like saying it's October? I don't like it.
What does that mean?
Like, you're saying it's the wrong day. Because there is only so much humor that you can get out of
me beating
telling the crowd, winking to the crowd. Because I've seen Colbert do it. Well, it is Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't mean to bring you down.
That's okay. I was just trying to think of the next topic.
Oh. What were we talking about? Chilton? Let's see where we are.
Yeah, I think
are we an hour in?
No, we're not yet.
God damn it. We can't take a break yet.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. I was watching a lot of old Dick Cavett shows this weekend.
I have some of those on DVD, and they're great, right?
No need, because they're all on YouTube now.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely, they're great. They're just, there's a certain... they're great for different reasons too. There's the original Cavett show, that late 60s, early 70s thing where he had great people on, and it's kind of like the only record of some of these, it's like it's the best record of like Truman Capote and Norman Mill, those superstar writers of the time.
Right. He was on 5 nights a week, right? Was this a 90-minute show too?
I think so, yeah. And but he also had like a lot, there was like this generation of stars that was like already sort of like elders, but not elderly yet.
Right.
Like Katharine Hepburn did like 2 hour-and-a-half shows. And
oh, really? Just alone?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bob Hope, was on.
Those must be amazing.
They are totally amazing. And they're, but they're old enough so it's like they're not protecting anything anymore. So there's a bit of a I don't give a shit.
How do you
mean? I mean, just in terms of their willingness to speak freely.
Oh, okay.
People like that. Like this is like Bob Hope was a good interview because it was like he was already a legend, but he wasn't like elderly. They weren't. They didn't have to trot out Bob Hope for the interview in 1968 or 72 or whatever it was.
Wow, he really goes back before.
He goes back to the 30s,
Yeah, he goes, but Cavett goes back to being the same time period of the Tonight Shows.
Yeah, he was on against Johnny. But it was a whole completely different kind of show.
And Johnny never targeted him, right?
I don't think so, because it was a whole completely different kind of show. Yeah.
Did he do a monologue?
Yeah, he did. A lot of the time he did a monologue. But I saw that this interview it was really weird. Because it seemed so modern in its way. This interview, it was actually from like 85, and it was him interviewing Richard Pryor.
Wow.
In this theater. And Pryor in 85, I think he had just directed JoJo Dancer. He was very serious. He was sober. It was after the fire accident. He was still funny, but he was
very quiet too.
But he was quiet and serious, you know. And so Cavett, they're talking for a while, and about 25 minutes in, Cavett's like, sort of flippantly goes, well, you know, were you foolish enough to think that success would bring you happiness? You know, and Richard kind of goes, well, you know, success has made me be able to afford good psychiatrists. And Dick kind of agreed with that, you know. And then Richard starts talking about being in therapy. And he was like, yeah, for the first year, I was just angry. I was mad. I was raving, and, you know, and the psychiatrist was scared of me. He'd be like, please don't bring back the characters next week, you know. And then after a year, he's like, so have you ever had a homosexual experience? And he's like, what the hell are you talking? Well, how would you ask me that? And then, you know, well, you know, I was young, and and so they start getting into this. And Dick Cavett's like, did you have that experience? I know I had a similar experience in a movie theater. And then he goes to Richard Pryor. What was, you know? And Cavett's like, can't believe he kind of said the movie theater thing.
That Cavett said.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But Richard, you know, obviously will go anywhere. And he's like, well, what was your experience? Oddly enough, he asked him this on this TV show. And Richard's like, well, you know, when I was a little kid, I went to a part of town that I knew I wasn't supposed to go to. They told me not to go to. And I got stuck in an alley with a bunch of boys, and they made me do very bad things to get out of the alley.
Right.
And so now there's like this in the air on this Dick Cavett show with this theater audience they're in front of.
How were they reacting? Like weird, or
it's kind of back and forth, because they keep making sort of you know, Dick's especially uncomfortable about it, kind of, but he's also like clearly wants to tell his story as well. And so he's like, okay, well, you know, I said I had a story too, but no one wants to really hear. We're here to hear about you. So he kind of pushes it off, and then he goes to commercial. And then he comes back from commercial and he brings it up again. Like, let's forget what we were talking about before the thing. You know, I'd tell my story. I wrote about it in my book. But if I had my book here, I'd read you the passage. And like literally like 2 seconds later, his book like hits him in the chest from the stage manager who's thrown a paperback at him. And now he's got the book, and he's like, well, I don't have my reading glasses, but I'll tell you the story. And he's like, I was in this movie theater when I was a kid, and this guy next to me told me to put my hand under his raincoat. And he was talking about, you know, I felt humiliated. I didn't feel scared. I felt humiliated. What would happen if the lights come on? And so now he's laid this story out there. And Richard Pryor goes, well, I'm glad we talked about this. And it kind of got a laugh, but then he was like, no, he was serious. It's like, you know, people see us as infallible, people who haven't lived real lives. You know, and it's important to talk about things. Talking about things makes you feel better.
That's so cool.
You know, and then they talk, you know, and Cavett goes, yeah, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, analysts are replacements for friends, you know. You know, they're stand-ins for friends, for people in Hollywood who, you know, can't find real friends, you know. But it was like a really interesting conversation to be hearing in 1985, because it is, you know, that's very much a current thing, to speak your truth. Yeah. You know, but it was interesting that Cavett would go there, and that they'd stay there and then come back to it. It was sort of remarkable to me. I tweeted it on my timeline just because I thought it was such an interesting thing. And I was
you know,
kind of surprised I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I haven't seen it before. And also the thing about it is that if you think about, there's probably so much stuff that, like I don't really even have assumptions about certain time periods, because I know that it's like I would, if you go, well, Letterman was the first guy to do this, or this was the first, you know, I'm sure I've missed so many things like you're talking about that have happened that if I knew them, it would make more, you would kind of start to see how the progression of people talking about serious things or getting into these topics.
Right.
But it was also no internet then, so it's interesting.
That's why I love YouTube so much, just because everything's there now, and it's just like you can just thread your way through very interesting places, you know, because people have been so And it's like a public service that people have uploaded so much of this shit, you know?
But you wouldn't think that normally anybody would admit those things, like being even in '85.
You wouldn't think so, no.
No, because
I had no trouble seeing Richard Pryor because, you know, that's his thing. There's no limb he wouldn't go out on, you know? But it was such a weird limb for a talk show host.
Yeah.
To go out on. You know, and that's part of what's great about him too, is that, you know, he is sort of an awkward interviewer, and he will go places. He'll ask quite weird questions, you know.
I will watch more because I had such a affection for him. I loved the way he was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, I didn't watch tons of it, but I remember.
He's both arrogant and obsequious at the same time. And it makes, and it's a quality. I mean, he's clearly, you know, got a giant ego and he's kind of a narcissist.
But it's very charming.
It's charming. And it's a thing that DeBar has that was interesting to me too, is this ability to be around bigger stars and almost reflect off of them. You know, he allowed the stars to be perfectly comfortable being stars around him. He would be, you know, he didn't make them feel self-conscious about being big stars. You know, he could make them feel fabulous, without losing any of his own sparkle, because his own sparkle came so much from within. You know, sparkle as
I like that.
Sparkle as a noun. So obviously they're very different dudes, but I see that in Cavett is that he puts people at ease in a weird way.
Well, you know what's interesting is I always say it's interesting, so stop saying it. But I've been listening to the oldies station, and I'm starting to recognize these different time periods of music, but I'm starting to relax and just learn more about, you know, start to see how it all works. How it all fits in. Like one of my things that I would like to write more of or play more music is in R&B.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that when I go back and look, categories don't always work. Like you can always say, this is this and that. But I start to gravitate to more what would be called rhythm and blues.
Right.
And there's a whole range of different types of music that kind of go down that same path, even though they could be different.
Sure.
I hope I'm not being too confusing.
No, it's a big tent.
It is a big tent.
What they call R&B.
Because I never could play the blues that well, but the way a lot of people play the blues too, you know, where it's like, you know, it's like you're in the pocket.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Rhythm and blues kind of like.
That was a polka pocket.
That's the polka. Rhythm and blues has that kind of like, it's going to go off the tracks kind of, rhythm to it.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know why I said that, but it's also about the not wanting to bullshit anymore. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to bullshit anymore and say what I know. Right. I actually want to know. But it is amazing how when I was a kid, I was embarrassed to say I didn't know about these things.
Well, I had the extra thing I was too, and because I was younger than all my peers, and I didn't want to be, you know, so I had to
keep up.
I had to power educate myself. But, you know, if I heard a reference I didn't know, I would make a point of going to know it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get called on being a kid ever.
And I guess that's why I was lying.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be called on.
My policy was always if I lied, I would immediately go educate myself about the thing I lied about.
Right. That's the difference between me and you. But you know, when I was looking back at, For What It's Worth, who was that group?
That was Buffalo Springfield.
And I remember when MTV first came out, I remember being like an old Jew and saying, why are they saying this is new? This has been around forever. And I realize now that I was right about that. They were making all those with the animals and Buffalo. They were making what they call music videos, for a long time. In the 60s, and the Beatles made them for songs.
Yeah.
So...
What's your point?
My point is, again, I'm a genius, something? Like I'm a genius?
No, but what's your point?
I used to think people would say I was crazy when I would say that. These look like like when I would say...
But the point of MTV wasn't they invented videos, it's that they invented a channel to show them.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what I thought. I don't know why. I just was, maybe I was arguing that nothing new under the sun or something.
Right.
But then I realized I haven't seen, the other part of it is, I would like to see every one of those things, those early videos, movies.
Well, watch MTV Classic. They show 80s videos all the time.
Oh, that's what I should watch. Maybe.
Just set your DVR and you can scan through the videos.
Right. Why are you turning my delightful story into rote?
What was the story?
I don't really know.
How you were cranky about videos in the 80s?
No.
It's been done.
No, this reckoning with my personality is very painful because I don't see
shit.
I don't see any
I've been
upside
reckoning with your personality for 2 years now.
I understand your pain because I don't understand why did I feel the need to tell people that I knew everything?
Right.
And then why would I think that's an attractive quality?
Like that's the best version of you.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I know everything about
Everyone loves a know-it-all. You know how that old saying goes.
It's two things. I both over-exaggerated how much I knew, but then when I would know about something like Talking Heads, then it was a competition. I've been listening to them.
I know. That's why I don't talk about coffee with you ever.
You don't talk about coffee because you have no interest in it.
Well, that's what I mean.
Well, no, but
you have way too much interest in it.
I do, that's true.
And you have to show every facet of your knowledge.
Well, you certainly filled in all the, if anybody was on the fence about me, you certainly filled in all the blanks. The thing that's amazing is that almost like sadistic delight that you gather in agreeing with how horrible I am.
I don't know if it's sadistic.
Well, I think it's sadistic because people don't think, they think of you as the nice guy.
I don't believe you're actually feeling pain is the thing. If I felt you were actually feeling pain, I wouldn't go there.
Well, no, I'm not like hurt.
See? Then how is that sadistic?
No, I just want the record to be shown that I think the image is that I'm the guy who's always saying the smart ass and trying to throw off the podcast. But maybe I'm the guy who's the company guy and you're the rebel.
Oh, how I wish it were true. I think now we can take a break.
Let's take a break now, I would say.
Let's listen to another one of Andy's songs.
Oh, yes. This is a song that was based on, I'd always been wanting to write it for years. It's with Jack Tempchin again, the very brilliant Jack Tempchin, singer, songwriter, guitarist. And I always wanted to write a song about how horrible it was to play music and you could never play it. We couldn't afford a rehearsal studio, so we'd always be trying to play it in our house and would be bothering the neighbors.
Okay, and what's this called?
Neighbors.
Boom.
I want to play loud. I want to play like this. I have to play like that. I want to play like this. I have to play like that. I want to play like this. I have to play like that. Because the neighbors, we can't disturb the neighbors here. I want to play like this, but I have to play like this. I want to play like this, but I have to play like that. Because the neighbors, you can't disturb the neighbors, you can't disturb the neighbors, the neighbors, those cop calling neighbors, those pokey nosy neighbors, the neighbors can't disturb the neighbors, those pokey nosy neighbors. I wanna play like this, but I have to play like this. I wanna play like this, I have to play like this. The neighbors, watch out about your neighbors. Get along with your neighbors. Get along with your neighbors. Get along with your neighbors. Get along. along, little doggy, with your neighbor. Get along, little doggy, with your neighbor. You know you gotta get along. Your neighbors, no matter what they do.
Don't disturb the neighbors. Don't disturb
No matter how goofy they look.
Don't draw attention to yourself.
No matter what they do. Can't disturb those neighbors. You gotta get along with the neighbors. No matter what they do. Even if the dog comes over the fence and gives your leg a chew. You gotta get along with the neighbors. No matter what they do.
Don't you start playing sometimes. You start to get a little excited. So you wanna up the volume. And you wanna get really loud. But then you have to play like this. Because the neighbors complain. Hey! Keep it down! We're trying to sleep! I'll call the police on you, asshole!
Even if they dump garbage on your lawn. They're the neighbors, so you really have to get along. Have to get along, little doggy, get along with your neighbors. Get along, little doggy, get along with your neighbors. Get along, little doggy, get along with your neighbors. Get along, little doggy, get along with your neighbors. What's the matter with you? Why can't you just do everything that I'll tell you to do? What's the matter with you? Something's the matter with you. I'll tell you what. Nothing's the matter with you.
Ah, that's right!
Nothing's the matter with you. Nothing's the matter with you. You're fine, baby. Nothing's the matter with you. It's just those neighbors. You can't disturb the neighbors. Everybody's your neighbor. You can't disturb can't be yourself, neighbor. You can't disturb the neighbor. Can't disturb the neighbor. Can't disturb the neighbor. Can't disturb the neighbor.
All right, that's let's back announce it. That was The Neighbors by The Visitors.
That was great.
Thank you.
You like them long.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I did want to say, the more I'm listening to that second one, I really do think that we had the in mind making this to accompany maybe the I Wish I Was Better.
Playing out for long credits thing.
Yeah, I don't think we knew what we were doing, but we definitely were not our top 40 cut.
All right. You didn't need the long credits since there was like 7 people involved in the production.
That's true. But the thing about it was...
But it was great. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I liked hearing you. I liked... there was a band. Did you just like lay down basic tracks and then build up the tracks from there?
Yeah, we did the thing that we got very there was a lot of pot, and we would do a call response for a long time.
All right.
So like that snippet of me going, I have something tells me there's another edit of this And I'll be embarrassed if this sounds long because it shouldn't. But you know what?
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't
crazy long. About 8 minutes, I think.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but like Norman, who is Jack's friend. Craig was the guy who studio it was, and Norman plays like a million different instruments. He played the bass, he played the drums, I think, and the piano and the lead. And then Jack plays guitar. And whenever you hear guitar playing very fast, like trying to sound good,
that was you.
That's me.
Wow. Well, good. That's from Andy's album, Songs to Put On When the DJ Has to Take a Dump.
Boy, you really make music sound great. You make it sound so special. You know what, though? Whenever I hear that, now I'm going to bring in other stuff that's like from the 80s, from my band, whatever, Transfusion, whatever the horrible name was. And that'll be interesting to hear because, first of all, it's being transferred from cassette.
Yeah. You say that as if it's happening.
I know it is. It is going to happen. I actually even went online. Here's what I wanted to have happen. We have a Best Buy in the area. Yeah. I thought I'd be able to walk over to Best Buy and buy one of those things, but they don't keep it in stock.
No, it's a little more esoteric an item.
You don't go off the street and go, yeah, do you have those machines that transfer old cassette tapes into USB digital? Oh, yeah, we have a whole room. Right. But that was the reason. That was the thing you could sometimes expect from Radio Shack. They would have something. It was always cheap and would break.
No, I expect it from Amazon.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You fully. I'm
so Amazon.
Well, today I go to the thing. I get the packages, and then there's a whole 8-pack of these new filters for the new air conditioning system.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I see how it works now. It's like you try to time your stuff that you don't have to have it that day,
right? And
then just stuff starts coming in.
I just ordered a 6-pack of air conditioning filters from Amazon last week.
You say it so well. You say it so enthusiastically. You do sound like maybe you're getting a little taste.
I love that it happens that way. It's like YouTube. It's like it. I understand the whole
compensation.
Mom and pop can go fuck themselves aspect of the argument.
Right.
But
what is that part of the argument?
Just that Amazon hurts small businesses.
Yes. Yeah.
But
it's
they also provide a remarkable service.
Look, if I want a big gulp to be delivered by drone, and I'm by the pool, and I want what would be funnier to be delivered by drone? All of a sudden,
almost anything.
Anything. And all of a sudden, I want a sushi to go. So you're going to be happy when they get the drones going?
No,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to really happen. No.
How come everything?
I think it happens in remote areas already, kind of.
Oh, okay.
When they were testing it, it was like in rural England.
Well, how long has it been since Star Trek? Like, there's no
50 years.
Right. There's no phase shifter. Well, there's phase shifters, but there's no thing where you
phasers. Is that what you're thinking?
Is that the phasers? What's the thing where they dematerialize you and you end up somewhere else?
The transporter.
Well, how about if you go to some place? Why is there a transporter where you're going? Oh no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Once you get there,
yeah,
you're cool.
Yeah.
Is that considered very high end special effects? The way they disappear the people?
I think it
for the time.
For the time, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
I bought it in the 70s, even.
Yeah,
as a
but
kid.
I would think now that Star Trek would be in the campy camp, that you wouldn't like it again. I couldn't watch it again. Could you?
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, it's never. I mean, it's always been the same sort of level of camp in my world. I wasn't around when it was around first run.
Oh, okay. And I was. God damn it. Maybe that's my bitterness from being old. God damn it. I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second.
Did you watch it as a kid? I mean, was it something that you looked forward to?
I loved it as a kid. It was. We watched all the new episodes, and then when I went to college, I thought I had died and gone to heaven because I didn't realize that people would be paid to go to colleges to speak. I didn't know what that would be about. So we had Scotty James
Doohan.
Yeah, and he came and gave a talk.
Yeah, and everyone was bummed that he didn't have the accent.
No, they were. I don't remember if he did or he didn't. But then they were just talking about making the movies then.
Right.
He goes, and I remember him saying at the end, because if they're going to have a ship, they got to have a captain, don't they? And the crowd went nuts.
A captain or an engineer?
An engineer, don't. Well, how did Scotty talk? I'm giving it though like Ken Captain.
Yeah, that was it.
They don't look like yoga pants. They don't look like dress pants, Captain. So we were so excited by him. And this was before the Star Trek craze. This was what made the Star Trek craze, was him coming to...
Well, it came back in the 70s.
Yes.
It regained popularity.
This had to have been the
70s.
first... If I graduated... No, it was like 77.
Is when you graduated?
78 I graduated.
Okay.
So it had to be, you're right, this was...
Yeah, and the movie came out in like 80.
Okay.
The Star Trek, the motion picture came out in like
And when did
1980.
the Saturday Night Live bit?
Like 85.
Wow.
The Get a Life people, that bit? Or the
Yeah, Get a Life is the one I remember.
Belushi, yeah.
What's the other one?
Well, there was the original, the Belushi as Kirk, where the network executives the sketch ends by the network canceling the show.
Because
they won't break their reality as the set's being stripped.
Belushi, don't kid yourself. That Belushi was funny.
Well, that was like a legendary sketch because he was great in the sketch doing his Shatner, but apparently he did not have it at all during the week.
Oh, it was a tough week.
Just did not have. He didn't have the impression down, and he couldn't get it until the actual night of the show.
That's pretty amazing because he is a guy who didn't necessarily do dead-on impressions. He just did incredible characters.
He did a good Brando. He did a funny.
So funny.
He was my first real big hero, my first big comedy hero, really, that I remember at least.
That is,
I think because he was fat. I think it was literally because I could relate directly to what he looked like and picture myself being funny that way.
Right.
I still can't.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, to me, like the whole story with Belushi and how that idiot Woodward kind of took advantage of the family, and
it was a shitty book.
It's a shitty book, and so there's always a weird feeling I have about the whole thing, about the whole Belushi thing, because it also was no matter how you slice it, was a major tragedy, Hollywood tragedy,
absolutely
involving, because we were all hoping that cocaine
turned out to be good for you.
I'm telling you, I know. It was like, this is good.
Right.
Even when they would talk about speedballs.
Show me the downside.
But I mean, even with speedballs, you go, I see where they're going.
Right.
Bring me up, but then let's take the edge off.
Right.
But you lost me at syringes.
Yeah.
That's where you wouldn't
I couldn't
have.
see crossing that line.
But other Jews have.
Sure.
But wouldn't you think a Jewish person in general would not want to be with every stereotype has a...
with the needles.
Excuse me, who took my with my methadone? I don't know any lingo.
My
methadone.
Let's hit some questions before it becomes crazy late.
But did I tell you though before we get the questions that I've decided to never vape again?
You've discussed your disgust.
All right, I just want to put it out there.
Let's go to, since we're talking about music, here's the first question from Michelle Weiscarver. I love most musical genres except modern country. Fuck that. But I am, first and foremost, an unabashed metalhead. Lots of guitar and bass excellence to be heard. Do you guys like any metal hard rock, i.e. Metallica, Pantera, Soundgarden, or anything similar?
Pantera, they make those great bread sandwiches, right?
No, that's
what?
Panera, you idiot.
Oh, I would say that the heaviest metal I've ever gotten was Led Zeppelin. That's the only group I know I know nothing about the genre.
Yeah.
How about you?
Not really. My issue is mostly like I don't have disrespect for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the only time it has any impact is when it's really fucking loud.
True.
And I don't really listen to super loud music.
I don't listen to super loud music
never
either.
have been like a super turn it all the way up kind of guy.
But if Led Zeppelin is metal, then I can accept that I'm into it.
Yeah, I think this is next. I think she's talking next level of guitar pedals from Zeppelin.
Well, she got me going though with the Michelle.
I can get into Soundgarden a little bit.
Oh, I don't know them.
But
isn't that more like?
I liked Metallica. The thing I loved of Metallica was their movie, was the doc. The Some Kind of Monster was.
Oh, was that the movie about how they all went into
They were all
therapy?
the group therapy. It was just.
Is it really great?
It's really great.
What's it called?
I think it's some kind of monster.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But when she says modern country, I hope she doesn't mean the music I like, which is like Steve Earle or Lucinda Williams. Is that modern country?
No, I think she means
like the new.
That's more Americana, I would say at this point. But no, modern country is
the big hits.
The big hits,
which are terrible.
Yeah.
Would you get up in the morning with a pencil in your head and your baby's going down and you have to eat your face?
Yes, that one.
When I'm going off on that kind of run, is it more a thing of like, I hope it ends soon, I don't want to listen to it? How do you get through a moment like that? If you wake up in the morning, then your chicken's in the barn and the things in bacon and again. Oh, baby, you got the bill, blues.
Right. I just hear it as noise, 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 noise. It's gonna stop soon, so I'll just wait till it's no longer noise.
You don't want to encourage it, right?
No, but I don't want to squash it either. Greg Kelly wants to know which role in The Wizard of Oz would Foster Brooks be best suited for.
Put him up.
Put him up. Put him up. Put him up. Put him not down. That doesn't work. If I only had a brr, brr. If I only had a brr. If I only had a collection of neurons firing and creating thought.
Oh, I only had a brr. 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 I only had a place where my thoughts are inhabited.
Hey, that's what I just said.
No.
Ignore the man behind the curve.
Behind the curve.
Behind the vertical rug.
Ignore the mat. Ignore the mat. Ignore the mat.
Why do you just keep doing the same thing?
It's the man. Ignore the man. That guy. Eddie. Ignore that man. Ignore Eddie. My first wife, she died from poison mushrooms. My second wife, she died because she wouldn't eat the purple poison mushrooms. So I beat her over that with a shovel.
I think you're a little out of sequence there.
A lot of sequence. You see how if you say it one way, it's funny?
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi Yamamoto.
Andy, how would you feel if Hitler followed you on Twitter? Would you be mad if both Pol Pot and Hitler followed you, but Stalin was holding out?
I would really, to be honest, I could say that I'd be excited if they followed me, but I won't want them. I don't want them to follow me. Because Pol Pot, it goes very quickly from, hey, I'm a fan, to he rounds you up with the Khmer Rouge.
No, he only rounded up the intellectuals.
Is that true? Oh, I guess I'm safe because I'm an idiot, and that's the point of the joke. He only rounded up the intellectuals. Huh? What? I said he only had the, huh? He only had the smart people. He only hung around with her. Only hung around with her. Only hung around with her. Pretty smart people.
The brainiacs.
You're making it so that I'll never be able to listen to a Forrester Brooks album
I
again.
know. I'm rooting the simple pleasures in life.
His name was Forrester Forrester.
Guy Incognito wants to know, does Allison have any metal or hardcore punk songs in the vault? I feel the need for thoughtful, spirally headbanging. Hey, you should meet Michelle Weiscarver. Also, I feel build the paywall as a slogan on a T-shirt has legs. Real rickety but robust legs.
Build the paywall.
Allison doesn't have any metal or hardcore stuff.
That's not in your family. Neither
really.
one of our sides of our family is the heavy metal. We have no
really,
Brian
yeah.
Posehn blood.
Yeah, I just don't. It's part of it is I need a little bit of humor,
Right.
in my music, and that always, even if I deciphered the words,
Yes.
there's rarely a sense of humor to metal stuff.
That's true. Have you tried Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
I think it's too edgy.
Okay.
Seth Dick the Third.
Yay! Hey, have you ever tried really reaching out to the other side?
What do you think of non-comedians trying to one-up you by tagging your comedic tweets?
I think.
By the way, how's my nomenclature, babe? He said.
How's my nomenclature? I think that that's the spirit of Twitter. Sometimes it gets to the point where you do feel like everybody is adopting the same voice.
Right.
But in general, I think it's not bad. You keep it under your hat.
I think because we're comedians, people try to impress us.
Right.
So you don't get mad at that. But
no.
There's an art to tagging someone's joke on Twitter, which is, I think, the essential the rule of thumb that I always use is you really have to yes and someone's joke.
Right.
You really have to build your joke on the premise that their joke was solid. You can't pitch an alternative punchline.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong. If you want to get in, I have to restrain myself a lot. I realize you just want to make this funny tweet about you.
Right. So that's what if my tag will sort of engage the person in banter.
Yes.
Then it's worthwhile. So it's all, and I think that's the line that I try to not cross. It's like you always has to be, yes, your joke is good, and here's another one in the same spirit, as opposed to here's a different joke, here's a better joke, here's, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Or here's a GIF of the joke you just made.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the down. Not that there's a downside, but the whole idea that there is memes or whatever. There's funny ones, but it is rife for abuse because it's like prop comedy.
Right. It is. Yeah.
Like it's like the desire to have someone reacting visually as a boring or whatever the thing.
Right.
But I get stopped because I don't want to go through the rigmarole to put that together.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of intricate things, really. Gudger College graduate says...
I don't know what he's saying.
Gudger. Gudger.
Oh, he goes to Gudger?
He went there. He's a graduate.
Oh, he went to Gudger.
Yeah, he's an alumni. He's a galumni.
Did you really need to stop the rhythm for that?
No, I didn't. Scold taken.
You made me glum.
What's your favorite California city to say as Huell Hauser? Mine is beautiful Yucaipa, California. We're here in Yucaipa. That's not a bad one.
Is that his?
That's his.
Oh.
I might be, we're here in Rancho Cucamonga. That's a classic.
So here we are in Buellton.
Here we are in Eureka.
Well, I can't believe so this is Fresno. So good.
Welcome to beautiful San Bernardino. No.
So you're telling me that people moved to Chula Vista?
Not Chula Vista. Chula Vista is a nice place. Welcome to Death Valley. Yeah.
So Whittier's always been a city. Now, Whittier's a city that has always been in California, but you don't hear a lot about it. It's amazing.
I hear Richard Nixon's from here, but I don't see him anywhere. I think Yucaipa might be it.
Yucaipa. You win with Yucaipa.
I think you won. Yucaipa. Mark Thompson says, have you ever attempted to research vaudeville comedy?
Only in that one book.
Yeah, Cliff Nesteroff, the comedians, has a sort of overview of how the circuit worked and stuff. But the comedy itself, it's unsophisticated comedy largely. There's not a lot to learn from it.
From vaudeville?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be more interesting for me to study how the whole thing came down to what else is in the news. It started from
Will Rogers.
It started from hi mama, dad, and then it went to what else is in the news. The whole history of comedy would be interesting, or something. I'd like to know something about something.
Someday you will.
Because I don't really know.
On your deathbed, you'll get perfect consciousness.
Well, look, I don't believe I could have done anything else but be a stand-up comic.
Well, we just heard your music, so.
What? So, I don't know. I forgot the question.
History of vaudeville.
Oh, I would watch a documentary about it.
Yeah, I would too. Kenny Loggins III says, Josh, did Andy stroll in tonight with a particularly brighter glow considering his newfound Twitter fame?
Ah, well, that's like...
Twitter fame or Twitter shame?
That's right. How do we deal with it? It's interesting, though, because it was bubbling up in my mind.
It was. We knew it was going to be the topic off the...
But the thing about it was,
shoot.
I actually said to myself, two things I learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you want to save something for the podcast, why not do it? It's not like you're overloaded with podcast subjects.
Right.
So that's what I liked about it, too.
And it's not going to be that long until the next podcast.
That's what I love about the new me. I'm not going to fight with Emily Nussbaum online. I'm not going to, I I have a podcast to do. That's where I should air my dirty grievances.
I thought it was the State of the Industry address where you should.
I don't know. I've realized this thing. I don't know if I told you that I realized that all of my jokes include more language after the punchline.
You didn't have to tell me that. Jim Meehan says, Andy's ship to England rigged and ready in the harbor yet? Don't put it off until the last minute or they'll hit you with all those last minute rigging and readying fees.
What does that mean? We're taking a boat?
That's his premise.
Oh, we are actually taking a boat because I'm doing comedy on the Blarney Stone cruise.
The Blarney Stone cruise is what he came up with for that.
Well, how are you?
Mr. Weinstein, come in here.
Mr. Weinstein.
I need a punchline for my cruise ship bit.
Hey, Josh, I got a genius idea of how to save money on the travel to England. I'm taking a cruise. I'm doing a cruise.
Is that so, Mr. Kindler?
Mr. Weinstein, please. Mr. Weinstein, don't make me say Mr. Weinstein again, please.
I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't.
Thank you. Mr. Weinstein, cheerio.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. Frosted Flakes. Those were the days when you could just call it sugar something. It's sugared.
Right.
Sugar Faces.
Sugar Smacks. Not
Sugar
Honey
Smacks.
Smack bullshit.
Yeah. That was when you knew, I really think I'm addicted to sugar. I think I have diabetes. I have diabetes 2 as well. And I can't stop. And you're supposed to, I have another Starburst in case you ate a lot of them. Oh my God. I just did that thing that, wasn't it Lindsey Graham who took his glasses off? Or someone in Congress took their glasses off and they didn't have glasses on?
Yeah, that was, from Pennsylvania. No, Orrin Hatch. It was Orrin Hatch.
Orrin Hatch. He took his glasses off. Otherwise, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's solid. Tommy Barcanero, Andy, your Letterman sets always succeeded in getting Paul Schaefer to deliver his signature laugh. Did Paul's enthusiasm energize you when you were on stage?
Well, absolutely. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've talked about it before, but I would write jokes. If I knew that it could make Dave laugh or I knew it could make Paul laugh, I would include those jokes because it wasn't like on purpose. I'm going to do something just the band gets, but that was always the best part for me.
Right.
And when I could hear Dave laugh a couple times, oh, magic.
There can't be any sweeter sound.
I was watching Johnny Carson, and they had Jonathan Katz on.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my God. And for some reason, I've always thought he's the funniest person in the world. But for some reason, I had never gotten this joke until I was embarrassed to say I never understood the joke. And I finally got the joke because I think I had finally heard him do it.
Yeah.
And the joke is, I think my wife's having an affair because recently the parrot has been saying, give it to me hard before my husband, Jonathan Katz, gets home.
You didn't get it?
I never got it.
How do you?
I didn't get it.
What is there not to get?
I think I didn't get that it was the parrot. I didn't get that. Why would the parrot, like, if the joke said, give it to me until my husband gets home, it wouldn't be the joke yet, right?
Well, no, it would still be a pretty good joke, but it's
Jonathan
even funnier. Yes, it's incredible.
Make no mistake, I'm not talking about my husband. I don't know. I just, for some reason, it went over my head, and I was like, oh, my God. And the whole set was unbelievable. He was really, really funny.
Yeah.
God damn it, he's funny. I know, it's sad that I don't get jokes sometimes.
It's a little sad. It shocks me sometimes, I have to say.
It doesn't shock you. You just want to make.
It totally shocks me.
Meh?
That's why somebody asked last week or a couple of weeks ago, are you going to do an episode of just jokes that Andy didn't get?
Eventually, I will get jokes.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That'll be nice. Carpe Noodle says, what other former heads of state does Andy hope will get, quote, tweeted by?
I don't know. I'm still basking in Vicente Fox. I just love the idea.
Vicente Fox has a third name that was never there when he was president.
Quisado.
Yeah, that.
I don't know what that means.
What's it about?
I don't know. It's a new experience.
Who gets a new last name late in life like that? Perush says, is Andy sabotaging Fiddling Horse now that Josh is in it too?
Well, we don't know. It's certainly...
The current update on the movie is it's happening, but it's happening in October.
In October.
That's what we've been told. But it's a firm date now. We're not on call.
Well, where did you come up with that firm date? Does that mean we pay or play?
That's what he said. He said that's.
Pay or play.
I'm going to put the date. I don't think it's pay or play, but...
I told him
I'll be happy with just play.
Favored nations.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it happens.
I hope so too.
Because it's a funny movie.
But we can have a month of not talking about it now. This past week, Kelly Ward suggested that John McCain died to screw up her campaign announcement.
I couldn't believe that. I heard that about that.
If you could use your death to spite someone, who would it be?
Nice going. Well, I would, in general, I'm hoping that my death makes people feel bad. I fantasize about that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
They'll be sorry when I'm gone.
Yeah, it's one of those deals.
Yeah.
I fantasize sometimes about how hard it would be for people to get over my death.
Yeah.
So, I fantasize about, what's the matter, Schmooky? You know, ever since Kindler died 2 weeks ago, it just hasn't been the same.
That'll be the podcast.
Hi, I'm welcome to Thought Spiral. You know, there are a lot of things happen in life when you least expect it. I thought when Andy died 2 weeks ago, I would never be able to go on with the podcast.
Now I'm doing it daily.
But please welcome my new partner, Adam Ferrara. Huell Hauser's son, Hank. Hank. You know what's funny today where people were going, it was like a meme going around was...
I sure miss my dad.
You mean he's dead? That's fantastic. I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it that good?
Tweet Bahar wants to know. So now Austin wants us to know. So now Austin has all these goddamn green and white scooters sitting around everywhere. Oi.
Oh. Austin?
Yeah.
It is unbelievable, and cities are not happy about this.
They're not. Nor should they be, really.
I know, and the thing is, are you saying that you would take a scooter around town if you could purchase it online and then drop it off somewhere? What are you saying by taking that scooter?
I would use the scooter. I mean, if I was I'm on foot in some downtown area, I probably would use one of the scooters. It's not that I think it's a bad idea to use electric scooters.
Right.
But I think this disruption model where they just fucking dump them on a city and let them work it out for themselves like it's some fucking social experiment is kind of fucked up.
And some cities are getting very mad at
Some cities are getting really mad and people are getting hurt and, you know.
I think this could replace the food truck craze.
I think somehow they can go hand in hand.
I'm over the food truck craze in a way.
Well, I never really fully indulged in the food truck craze. But I drove by a lot of trucks going, should I stop? Nah.
Well, I mean, I've had some things, and I don't even want to bring them up, a couple of things that were it's not deep dish Chicago pizza that I knew of.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that what it's going to all end up being? A bait and switch?
You shouldn't have ordered from the truck that's called Fool Me Twice.
I laughed at that joke just at the effort.
Thank you.
And you put a time into it.
I appreciate it. That's all I deserve.
Yeah. People think I'm fake laughing, and that's what they write to me.
Greg W. wants to know, have you guys considered setting up a website to sell signed merch, like the documentaries and perhaps a physical copy of Hence the Humor when it is released, hopefully prior to the apocalypse? No, we haven't considered doing that because we have, it would be, first it'd be work. And second, no one would buy our, like a couple people might buy our signed merch.
But I am doing that thing where for $10, I'll put a phone message in your machine.
Oh, yeah, that's good. But if you ever see us, we'll sign anything you want.
That's right. We're not
going to sell you our autograph.
We're not pulling a Louis C.K. with they don't take my photo.
But in the meantime, go to Zazzle.com/thought_spiral and see our full line of products.
That's a good way to get into the plug. Did you know that Louis didn't? Louis never would allow pictures to be taken.
He wouldn't do the selfie thing.
He wouldn't do the selfie thing.
Fuck him.
Yeah, but he had no problem taking his own penis.
Doing his own version of the selfie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen Elton Yates says,
yes.
Team Kindler, Stephen Elton Yates. Suppose you were magically gifted with the musical talent needed to sit in with any band ever. What band do you choose and what instrument do you play? That's a pretty good question.
That varies so much because, for example, if I just heard Reeling in the Years, I would want to be sitting with Steely Dan when that guy came up with that lead.
Right.
I always fantasize about being the world's greatest guitar player and breaking everyone's heart.
So you would be Steely Dan playing lead guitar.
That would be one. But then it's like people don't like Steely Dan like they used to. So.
So it's all about looking good now.
Yeah.
It's not about your true soul.
Yeah, but that would be great.
Right now, I want to be in fucking David Byrne's band.
Oh.
At this moment. But, I don't know. I guess it would probably be like Miles Davis Quintet playing bass or something. Because, like, if you can play with that, you can play anything.
That's true. If you could do bebop and...
or it would be like being one of the Wrecking Crew or something like that. It would be,
Well, that's why I got disgusted with...
Because then you're in every band if you're in the Wrecking Crew.
That's why I got disgusted with trying to be a studio guitarist. I realized, it would be nice if I could do that, but I don't think I can put that much time into it.
Yeah, I never... I've never had the discipline to be a virtuoso anything. So it's like I don't fantasize about jamming. Really, Well, how about like harmonica is the one instrument where I have where I feel like I can play without being embarrassed. And
how about I think of someone like Gruber can play everything, right?
Well, I think he's been playing a lot in Salt Lake City. He's been playing for senior citizens of varying mental capacity. He goes twice a week and plays at this home, and he does playing piano and guitar. So I think his chops are good right now.
Oh, that's great.
But he's, like me, he's very musical. He's a way better piano player than me.
That's amazing.
Probably a comparable guitar player.
And he taught himself how to play.
I think he took lessons as a kid. He reads music. So
he does? Yeah. Oh.
But I think his chops are probably as good as they've ever been because he's been playing a lot, I'm going to see him next week in Salt Lake City.
You're going to do a gig there with Segura?
Yeah.
Cool. Please send
which I would say come see, but they've been sold out for many months because he had to reschedule them.
You mean in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Oh, come to... aren't I doing a gig? What am I doing? When is it?
What? I was talking to the people out there, not you.
Oh, I thought you were saying you wanted me to come see the gig.
No, I don't want you there. Why would I want you there?
Well, I see. You can't... You don't want to promote...
I was saying I wasn't going to promote it because there's no tickets available.
I finally got it.
But I am going to see Gruber when I go up there.
That is so cool.
And he and I are talking about doing a little two-man sort of an act.
Podcast?
No, a stage.
Oh, that would be so good. Oh, I would love that.
We're going to try to hit Largo up, see if he'll put us on.
And then just write something?
Yeah, we have stuff that we've done because we brought Gruber out with Cinematic Titanic, so he and I had bits that we did opening for Cinematic Titanic throughout the years. So there's a thing that we did there that we've kind of based it on. So we're talking. We're in talks. Luke Hawley says, last week you guys said money laundering didn't sound that hard. What other crimes do you think you could actually successfully commit?
Well, money laundering, I think I could buy an ostrich coat
Yeah.
You know, that's about it all. I don't really.
That's just a crime against the world, though.
That's a crime. Okay. So the point is that you have to make a business. You're putting the money into a business because you don't want anybody to know you have the money. I don't even understand it really. Why are you buying ostrich? You can't show the money because you don't want to declare the money, right? So you buy an ostrich coat. If you have a lot of cash,
but
like
that's tax. I mean, what he was doing mostly was tax evasion.
Yeah,
it wasn't laundering it so much.
Right.
Laundering it is where you take money that came from a crime and put it through a legitimate business to clean up the money.
Oh, but then where does that money go once you clean it up?
Then it's clean and it's on the books, so you can take it then.
Oh, you're declaring it?
You can then declare it.
Oh, I see. You're saying that you did make $50,000 with a car wash.
Yes, let's say.
But they don't put all the money in, right? Because then they'd be declaring all the money.
Well, it's a way to get the money into the system.
Wow.
Without saying I committed a crime.
Hi, I have $60,000 in cash. Could you put it in for me?
Right.
I'd be a terrible car. Anyway, in answer to the question, I'd be terrible at it.
Yes. Yes, I think that's true.
Check kiting.
But is there any, murder you're not going to get away with. That's clear.
No, I would be bad. I would be a terrible burglar. I don't think there's any crime that
I don't know if there's any crime I could commit just because I think there's a crime I could probably get away with, but I think my guilt would make me.
Well, I've shoplifted when I was a kid.
Did you?
That's why
it's terrible.
You can't get through me now. I'm so well adjusted. No, I took comic books from the comic book store, and then one day I was leaving. She goes, "What did you take today, Andy?" Then I had to go back in and apologize. But
who said that? Your mom or the
no, the woman at the store.
Really?
Yeah, and then my mom went back with me. It's actually a positive memory. It's a good memory. They didn't make me feel terrible, but I don't know.
No, that's pretty non-shamey.
It's kind of non-shamey, but I did want to be a thief at one. I mean, I thought it was like you thought about it's like I'll be a thief and I'll, steal from the rich comic book people, give to the poor comic book people.
Yeah, I never.
You never did crime at all? I stole money from my mom's purse. You never did anything like that?
No, yeah, of course there is.
All right, baby.
But I don't think I ever shoplifted.
And I wouldn't think that every kid would.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't have a dangerous streak
area
as a kid.
Also a dangerous area to go to, maybe.
That's true. I didn't have that either.
Was your brother was he more dangerous or?
No, we were both rule followers, really. We were subversive, not, full rebellious.
Yeah. Who was the prankster? Any pranksters in the family?
No, there weren't really.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to have the prank done on them.
Exactly. There weren't. I mean,
I instead of milk, I put in poison.
That's not to say my brother didn't do mean and horrible things to me growing up, but
he did though.
But they weren't pranks.
Well, if you add a little bum at the end of it, tomato.
Finally, Sammy Perez says, "Whenever you're in Chicago, do you request stuffed or deep dish?"
Do I request what?
Stuffed or deep dish?
We answered this.
Did we last week?
Yeah, but I'll answer it again.
No, that's why I asked.
Deep dish. Hey, don't you know from last week? Why do I have to make somebody feel bad?
I don't know.
We talked about, I do like Eduardo's, but I would go for deep dish. And you kind of say you don't care either way.
I like a good deep dish pizza.
Oh, okay.
I don't, I think it's its own thing.
It is its own thing, but for a while
it's a bucket of cheese is what it is.
But also the crust and is very good for you. It's slimming.
Yes.
It's slimming.
Well, I'm so glad we ended on a question we already answered.
I feel bad that I say that we'd answered. Did it sound familiar to you?
It did, yeah, as I was saying it. But
But it was a different person asking it?
No, I think it was probably they asked it again thinking it didn't make last week's show. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I cut it out. I don't know.
What if it makes every show and you never take it out?
Yeah, I think that could be our signature now.
Anyway, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but the main thing you should take from this show is that this week, starting on Wednesday, I will be in London, England at the Soho Theatre. I wish I had a phone number to give you, but just go online and buy a ticket to see me.
Once a night. For 10 nights.
Because this will be the only podcast right before it. Will there be one?
I'd say have a good trip, but you and I are going to actually record one more before you leave.
That's true.
But have a good trip in weird podcast universe constant time.
Right. There is no... Einstein said all time was relative when you're listening to something. Boring podcast. You know, I've lost not only my delivery, I've lost the ability to put jokes into the framework of a...
Go to your alphabet, Andy.
I'm pitching a show...
Let's close the show with a G. Let's close the show with T.
T. I was in this restaurant, and they had a little table tent, and they said, you have to taste our tiramisu to know how good it is. How else would I know? What other relationship could I have with the tiramisu? Use it as a shaving cream for a week. How about R? How's those Real Housewives of the various areas working? You know what? You've made me just depressed about the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to England now.
I just loved how the tiramisu was like filled with, it was like tiramisu table tent. It was like...
Yeah, I do load them up. There's a problem with my system.
If you want to talk to us this week, give us a write over at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, and please go to iTunes and rate us and review us because it helps us out.
How come
buy some shirts or a mug at Zazzle?
How come they always say, and get it at iTunes or wherever you like to get your podcasts? Josh, here's the thing. How am I any different from any hack who just has funny voices? What's the difference between me and a funny voice hack guy?
The hack voices guy doesn't steal from Conan.